We're living in one of the most amazing times in human history. It's never been easier to create wealth than now. You can get it too. Nothing's holding you back. I don't care what color you are. I don't care how much money you have. I don't care what school you went to. Just follow what smart people are doing and you make money. It's not hard. We make it harder than what it is. If you're sitting there thinking, I'll never buy crypto assets, they have no value, this is not here to stay, who you are is the person from 120 years ago when cars came out, when they were riding their horse and they said, cars aren't going to make it, these newfangled contraptions are not real, there's no roads for them to go on, there's no gas stations, there's nothing here that can support these cars, and no one's buying them, so horses, for me, forever. I'm never, ever, ever gonna buy an automobile. It's the same thing with cell phones, same thing with television, even the same thing with electricity. Do you know when electricity was first beginning to be commercialized, that you had to sell people to put it in their house? Because they hadn't had electricity in a millennia. Why do I need electricity? My dad didn't have it. His dad didn't have it. His dad didn't have it, right? So whenever there's something new, there's this innate resistance to it because we've always gotten through our lives a certain way. So you might say, well, I've always made money in the stock market. Why do I need this? Right? That's certainly, if you're a billionaire, that's what the billionaires are saying. They don't see the value in it. But you've got to look at the demographics in front of us, right? You look at the millennials. Over the next 20 years, they're set to inherit about $60 trillion. That's a demographic tailwind you cannot ignore. Where is that money going to go? Is it going to go in traditional assets? Is it going to go into gold? Or is it going to go into crypto? Right? So pull the camera back. You've got a new asset class that is incredibly more efficient in so many different ways versus old types of investments. It's very small relative to the hundreds of trillions of dollars in traditional financial assets. But most importantly of all, it's got a 20-year demographic tailwind that nobody can get in front of, that nobody can derail. You cannot derail the fact that within 20 years, most of the wealthy people, older wealthy people in this world, will be dead. And their kids will have their money. And those kids are gonna buy crypto. Period. End of discussion. It is the easiest, simple trade you could ever look at. Let's not make it more complicated than that. If you read the newspaper or watch television, people will say, oh, you're crazy. But let me tell you, I grew up in the 1970s and then the 80s and then the 90s. And it was hard to develop wealth. Right now, we're in an environment where essentially money is free if you have good credit. You can go and acquire income-producing assets like houses or buildings easily, right? We have this brand new explosion of technology, and we're at the very beginning of it. It's like being at the very beginning of television or the very beginning of electricity or literally the very beginning of the internet, right? You can only be at the very beginning of something one time. And what's different about crypto is that this is a global phenomenon. It's not a national phenomenon. It's not a regional phenomenon. It's a global phenomenon, which means it's going to be bigger than any single market the world has ever seen. But if you just sit there and you don't do anything, it's like Pena says, what are you going to tell your grandkids? When your grandkid says, in the great big bull market of 2021, when you could buy Bitcoin for as little as $50,000 and Ethereum for as little as $1,500 or $2,000, what did you buy, Grandpa? What did you buy? The time to get rich is now. Yes, I'm saying get rich. Make the intention to get rich.